Pietro Vannucci, known as El Perugino, 1448 to 1523. This is a statue of Niccolo Machiavelli. This is made in 1845 to 1846, which is, I think it's around 200 years after Machiavelli's death. And it was made from other paintings. It's modeled after other paintings and his funeral masks made of him upon his death. And of all the pictures I've seen of Machiavelli, this is similar, very similar to his other oil paintings. So this painting is representative of Italian painting of 13th century, which is well before the Renaissance. And that is 1800 years ago. And from these paintings we can tell they lack the parallax perspective, the 3D feel of more recent paintings, particularly the paintings during the Renaissance period. So these are more 2D look. And the colors and the shades are much more cartoonish than more realistic paintings a few hundred years later. This painting is 1280 to 1285, so that's shortly after the Crusade. This is the post-Crusade time, so it's still in the, this is the start of the Dark Ages of the medieval period. And from this point on, for another 400 years, Europe stagnates in the deep quagmire of religion. All that matters is the religion, and the civilization practically stalled. No progress, no invention, no understanding of nature of any kind, all stuck in the religious interpretation of everything. And this is a typical painting or drawing of that era. These paintings are, I wouldn't call them paintings, they're almost like wood carvings, are dated 14th century, mid-14th century. And if you look at the artistic expression, they're no different from the paintings of 100 years ago, or no different from the paintings of 200 years after. For a few hundred years, artistic expression pretty much stays the same. Roughly stays the same, in the same level of sophistication and artistic coloring, shades and everything. The real explosion started in the Renaissance, but this is before the Renaissance. For example, these are 1334 to 1366. This is in the middle of 14th century, all of these drawings. They are essentially the same as those 200 years ago or 100 years ago. No different. These paintings are also dated around middle of 14th century. All around 14th century. For example, this one is dated 1372 to 1373. It's a panel painting. All of these are religious interpretations, basically painting of religious stories, biblical stories. All of these, this must be the virgin birth. Because religion at that time is everything. Every aspect of life is defined by religion. Yep. All of these paintings have nothing but biblical, religious, biblical meanings behind it. These are the monks interpreting the scripture to some other people. 1365. This violin is dated back to 1716, Stradivari. It can't be a Stradivari violin. If this is really a Stradivari, it will be worth millions. Stradivari's violin, he made about 500. Each one of them, there's only a few hundred, only a few left. Each one of them is worth $4 to $5 million a piece. This cannot be it. This has to be a replica. Mid-18th century. This is dated 1500. 15 to 1503. The resurrection of Christ. So he came out of his grave. The resurrection. This is the biblical story of Christ. And after his crucifixion. It was created in 1500 to 1505 on oil. It's an oil painting on the wooden panel. So the back side is, so the panel is a wood, a piece of wood, and it's painted over with oil. 1500. So this is the much more realistic painting because it's during the Renaissance period. And these dead soldiers must be the dead Roman soldiers. Yeah, because he popped out of the tomb and these dead Roman soldiers were shot. They would say, what the heck is going on? He just came out alive. This painting is dated 1450, but it still retains much of the medieval artistic style. Bravo! All of these sculptures, all of them, are produced in the first 20 years of the 15th century. So it's roughly between 1410 and 1420. So all of these sculptures are 600 years old. All of these are all biblical figures. Whether they really do exist, we don't know. But these names are familiar names. All of these artwork are created in the first 20 years of the 15th century, which